Hello everyone, good morning. I'm P. Jhansi Devi, working as an assistant professor in CSC department in our BVRIT college. So today I'm going to explain about the course Computational Thinking and Programming, and in that particular subject I'm going to explain about the concept known as C control statements. C control statements are nothing but where it specifies the flow of the execution of the program. So when you have observed previously, we have seen that in the C program, every statement in the C program will be executed line by line. We won't be skipping any statement and we won't be jumping from one line to the another line. So here, if you want to do such kind of things, that means if I want to jump from one statement to another statement, then we will be making use of control statements. So we will be specifying control statements are used to specify the flow of execution in the C program. So this allows the programmer to make decisions, repeat the code, and jump to different parts of the code or to jump to the different parts of the program. So basically here we will be having 4 different types of control statements. They are nothing but the first one, decision-making statements. The second thing, iterative statements. Third one, ternary operators. And the last one is break and continue statements. So these are the 4 different types of control statements that we will be using here in C programming. So when we are coming for the first thing, that is nothing but decision-making statements. So in the decision-making statements, we'll be having 4 different types of decision-making statements. The first one is nothing but we'll be specifying them as any simple if statement. Then we'll be specifying if-else statement, then nested if-else, and the last one is else-if ladder. So, for example, if you are writing the first program as an printing hello world program, just we will be specifying that one as int main. Main is a user-defined function, okay, and simply I'll be printing that one by making use of printf statement, printf hello C or hello world. Okay, so whatever the statements you want to write, we will be writing that one. So before coming to the control statements, okay, so here the program execution will be begins from line by line. First it reaches to the main function, then it control comes to the opening flower braces, then it comes to the printing of hello statement, then it prints, then it close. That means it is not skipping any one of the statements. Or if I want to print my name, then I'll be printing that one as here printf Jhansi. So like this, I'll be printing over here. So here after printing hello world, it directly comes to the Jhansi. That means when I'm executing, I'll be getting my particular output as hello C, and then I'll be getting that one as Jhansi. So like this, the control will be flowing line by line and it will be executing each and every statement. It does not skip any statement here. Okay, so if I want to skip any statements or not skipping, if I want to move the control from one position to the another position, then I will be making use of this particular control statements. So that's what we will be specifying. The control statements are used to specify the flow of execution of the C program. So they allows the programmer to take the decision whether which statement I have to execute, which statement should be skipped, has to be specified. So in order to do that one, we will be making use of the first one, that is nothing but the decision making statements. So first thing, we are using the first statement, that is nothing but if statement. So it is nothing but simple if statement. So in the simple if statement, just I'll be specifying only the one condition. Okay, that means I'll be using if keyword here, then I will be specifying condition. So if the condition is satisfied, then only whatever the statements that will be specified here in between the opening and closing flower braces, that statements will be executed over there. It can be the single statement or it can be the multiple statements. So whatever the condition is satisfied here, so what are the statements that you are writing here in between the opening and closing flower braces, we will be specifying them as any true block statements. we'll be specifying them as a true block statements. That means first it checks the condition. If the condition is satisfied, then only it enters into that particular block and it will be executing this particular true block statements. If not, then what it will be doing, it will be skipping off this entire thing, and after that whatever the statements we are writing, okay, for example, if I'm writing there return 0, then that particular statement return 0 will be executed over there. Okay, so this is the basic thing that I'll be using. So how that control is flowing will be specified here. So that's what the first one we are taking, that is nothing but simple if. So I'll be explaining that one in the next slide here. Okay, so we can see here there are the 4 different types of conditional statements or the control statements here in this particular C programming. The first one is nothing but if statements. Then second one is ternary operators. The ternary operators are nothing but question mark and colon, and the second one is switch statements. Okay, so these are the conditional statements. In if also we are specifying condition, right? So that means if the condition is satisfied, then only it executes the true block statements. So here this particular if statements has been classified into 4 types. Those 4 types are nothing but the first one if statement, next one if else, nested if else, next we will be specifying is else if ladder. Okay, so these are the 4 different types of conditional statements we will be specifying, or you can also specify them as any decision making statements. So what is the basic syntax that you are using for specifying the if statements are nothing but if condition, then true block statements. Okay, so this is the basic syntax we are using. Second one is if else statement. First it check the condition. Okay, if the condition is satisfied, then only it executes the true block statement. If the condition is not satisfied, it skips this particular part and then it comes to the else part and it will be executing the false block statement. Okay, this is the syntax that you are going to use for if else statement. Coming to the next one, the nested if else. So in the nested if else, what we will be doing means in one condition, if I want to check the another condition, then I'll be making use of nested if else. That means first I'll be checking first if condition. If the condition 1 is satisfied, then I'll be checking the condition 2. If both the conditions were satisfied, then I will be executing statement 1. If this particular condition 1 is satisfied and condition 2 is not satisfied, then I'll skip this particular second one and I'll be going to the inner else part and I will be executing statement 2. Okay, so this is the thing that we'll be using. That means if and else both are specified in if condition. So we'll be specifying that one as a nested. In one condition, I'm specifying another condition. If the first condition itself is not satisfied, then it skips this particular entire part and it comes to the else part and it will be executing the else statement. Okay, and if I'm not having any conditions to check in the else statement, then we will be using the default statements and we will be executing them. But in the else also, if I want to check the conditions, then in the else itself, again we will be making use of if condition. That means for every if, there should be mandatory else. That means it will be checking both the condition. Condition is satisfied means that statement 3 will be executed here. If not, then it comes to the else part and it will be executing the statement 4. Okay, so this is the way how the control will be flowing in nested if else. Then coming to the else if ladder. Okay, so first it check the condition. If the condition is satisfied, it executes statement 1. If that is not satisfied, then what happened? It will be coming for the else, and in the else again we will be using the if. Here what is the drawback that you're having in nested if else means if the first condition is satisfied, then only it checks for the second one. Okay, so if the first condition itself is not satisfied, okay, then it won't check the second condition and it won't enters into the inner block, right? And if the first condition itself is not satisfied, it won't be executing if and it directly comes to the else part. Right? That is the one of the drawback we are seeing here. So if I want to check what are the different kind of conditions I am having, all those conditions, multiple conditions has to be verified. Then I'll be coming to the else if ladder and I'll be executing this else if statements. So first I'll be checking if condition 1. If the condition 1 is satisfied, then I'll be executing statement 1. If not, then I'll come into the else if, and in that I'll be specifying second condition. If the second condition is satisfied, then I'll be executing statement 2. If not, then I'll be coming to the else, and whatever the default statement I'll be having, that statement I will be executing here. Okay, so this is the basic thing about if statements. Then coming to the ternary operators. So previously we have seen here, okay, then we are having here the third one, that is nothing but what? Ternary operators. Ternary operators are nothing but we will be using question mark and colon. That means these two operators will be specified as an ternary operators. Okay, so how I will be checking that one means, first I will be specifying expression 1, then I'll be using question mark, then I'll be specifying expression 2 colon expression 3 semicolon. That means in the expression 1 I will be specifying the condition if A greater than B question mark, then I will be printing that A is the largest number. So I'll be using here printf A. Okay, colon printf B. Okay, semicolon. That means first it check the condition. If the condition is satisfied, then it executes expression 2. If the condition is not satisfied, then the control moves to the expression 3 and it will be evaluating that particular expression. Okay, this is how the control will be moving. So that's what we will be specifying them as an control statements. Okay, so how many control statements we are using? 4 different types of control statements. They are nothing but simple if statement, if else statement, nested if else statement, and else if ladder. Okay, then after that one, if I want to execute the multiple statements, then I will be not multiple statements. If I want to execute multiple statements or the single statement multiple times, okay, repeatedly I want to execute them, then I'll be coming for the second one, that is nothing but iterative statement. So here we will be having 3 different types of iterative statements. They are nothing but while, do while, and for. Okay, so these are the 3 different kind of iterative statements we are using. And the last one we will be using, that is nothing but the break and continue. So whenever I'm executing the statements in the loops, okay, if I want to stop executing, terminate the statements then, okay, then I'll be using break. Okay, if I want to skip one particular statement and I want to continue with the next statements, I'll be going with the continue. Okay, so these are the different kind of statements that I will be using here. So these all are the control statements. Okay, so in the next video, we'll be checking about how this particular flow will be performed in C programming, how we will be executing that one. Okay, so the first one, that is nothing but simple if statement. Okay, as you all know that what is the basic criteria of if statements? It is used for checking the given condition. If the condition is satisfied, then only it performs certain kind of operations depending upon the correctness of the condition. That means if the expression is true, okay, then only it executes the code. Okay, this is the basic syntax we will be using here. Okay, next, how the control flows. Okay, first it checks the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes the true block statement. So user code, whatever the user code you have written, that particular code will be executed. Okay, if the condition is false, again what happens? The next statement what you have written, that is nothing but the user code will be executed. Okay, how it is doing? First it is coming the control, then it executes the true block statements. If the condition is not satisfied, then it will be executing the user code. This is a flow diagram of if statements. Next we are going to discuss about the programs, how we are going to execute this particular statements. So now I'll be specifying here how the code will be executed. Okay, so here we are going to execute the program by making use of dev C++. Okay, so first I will be including the header files. Okay, here I am including the header files by making use of #include stdio.h. Okay, then I'm calling my particular main function into main. As you all know that main starts with opening and closing flower braces. Okay, so first I need to find whether the given, first I'll be giving 2 integer numbers, then I'll be finding the largest of 2 numbers. Okay, So I'll be reading that one by making use of printf and scanf. So whatever the statements that I'll be including in the printf statement, that will be displayed on your output screen. Printf, enter the number, okay, or I can use enter the value of a comma b. I'll be using new line operator /n, then the cursor will be coming to the next line. Okay, so every time, every statements that are enclosed in opening closing flower braces should be terminated with semicolon. Then I'll be reading the value of a comma b by making use of scanf. Okay, so in the scanf, first I'll be specifying the format specifiers. Okay, so when you are seeing here, I'm specifying int a, b. Okay, a and b are nothing but of type int. So the format specifier that I'm using for int are nothing but %d. So both are of int. So I'll be using here 2 %d's format specifiers of a and b. Then reading the value, okay, by making use of address of operator, that is nothing but %a comma %b. So now I read the value. Now what I need to do? I need to find the largest of two numbers. So I'll be specifying if a is greater than b. Okay, then I'll be printing that one. Printf %d is largest. So what is this %d? The format specifier of a. So I'll be specifying that one as a. Okay, this is about the simple if statement. Okay, so next I'll be justly printing that statement, that is nothing but return 0. Okay, so here I have used only one condition. That means I'm specifying here the program to find the largest of two numbers by making use of simple if. I'm not using any else. Okay, just I'm specifying here if condition. If the condition is satisfied, then it will be executing the true statement. That true statement is nothing but what? A is the largest number. Okay, if not, it will be printing. So directly I'll be saving this particular program. Okay, go to file, save as. Okay, so here I'm saving my particular program as largest.c. So as you all know that .c is the extension of C program. Now I have saved my particular program. Now I'm going to compile my particular program by making use of F5. Okay, so here we'll be getting different kind of errors. Okay, so it is showing that no error and no warning. So errors are 0 and warnings are 0. Now I'll be executing my particular program by making use of F10. Okay, so it is asking here enter the value of a comma b. So for example, if I'm giving that values as 10 and 20, so it will be printing that 20 is the largest number. Okay, so this is this way how we are going to execute the simple if statement. Okay, so now in the same program, I'll try to specify about if else. Okay, so here I'm giving only a is the largest. Okay, for example, if I'm executing again, okay, if I've given 10 and 20, so here I won't be getting any output. Why? Means I have printing here the statement that is nothing but if a is the largest number, then only I should print that a is the largest here. Okay, but if b is the largest, it is not printing anything. Why? Means here I have used only the return 0 statements. Okay, so it is not printing anything. So if I'm giving b is the largest, okay, then I should print that one. Then what I'll be doing? I'll be coming to the else part, and in the else, I'll be printing that statement as printf %d is largest. So now what we'll be writing here? The %d is nothing but about the b. So simply we'll be writing here b and terminate this particular statement with semicolon. Now save your program. Okay, then compile your program. So I am getting here 0 errors and 0 warnings. Okay, now execute your program. So again here I'll be giving that 10 comma some 30. So now I'm printing that statement as 30 is the largest number. Is it clear to everyone? this is the way how we are going to execute simple if and if else statements. Okay, so in the same program, I'll be explaining how to use the nested if else. Okay, so in the nested if else, in one condition, I need to specify another condition. So I'll be using here another one that is nothing but another variable C. So read the value of A comma B comma C. I'll be writing here. Okay, and here 3 values I need to read. So that's what I'll be adding one more format specifier %d. Okay, then I'll be specifying here ampersand C. Okay, so here I have read 3 different values. Okay, and then I'll be checking here. Okay, so here I'll be checking first if A is the largest number. Then in the if itself, again I'll be using another if. This if is said to be as an inner if. In the inner if, I'll be checking A also should be greater than C. That means I need to check that A should be greater than B and A also should be greater than C. Okay, if both are satisfying, if both the conditions were satisfied, then I will be specifying that one as A is the largest number. Okay, so if not, I'll be using here else. Okay, in the else, I will be printing that first thing I'm checking here, A is the largest number. If not, I'll be printing that C is the largest number. Just copy and pasting here. Okay, so instead of A, we'll be using here C. Okay, so this if and else will be specified as inner if else of if. Okay, this first one will be specified as an outer if. That means if A is greater than B, then only it checks into the, it enters into the inner block and then it checks the second condition, that is nothing but A is greater than C. If A is greater than C, then only it will be printing that statement A is the largest number. If it is not satisfying the second condition, it comes to the else part and then it will be printing that C is the largest. Okay, if the first condition itself is not satisfied, then it comes to the else part, and in the else, again it will be checking that if, here we'll be checking that B is greater than C. Okay, so if B is greater than C, then I'll be printing that B is the largest number. Okay, if not, then again I'll be using else, and in the else, I'll be printing that, okay, C is the largest number. Okay. This is the simple program that I'll be using here for checking whether the given number is largest or not by checking 3 different numbers. Okay. Now we'll try to execute your program. So first I'll compile my program. So I got here 0 errors and 0 warnings. Okay. Now I'll be executing my particular program. So it is asking us to enter the 3 values. So I'll be giving here some 30, 20 and 10. Okay, by seeing that we can specify that 30 is the largest number. So now we'll check. So we got the output 30 is the largest number. So now we will interchange those particular values and we'll check whether B is the largest or not. Okay, so I'll be using F10. Okay, so 20, 30 and 10. So I'll be getting 30 is the largest number. 30 is nothing but what? Which is stored in the variable B. Okay, now I'll check for the C is the largest number. Okay, so again I'll compile my program. Okay, so I'll be using 10, 20 and 30. Enter. So 30 is the largest number. Okay, this is the way how I'll be checking my particular program. Okay, checking that whether the given number is largest or not by making use of nested if else. Okay, so by using 3 different variables we are checking. That means in one if I am using if and else. That means it is placed inside one particular if statement. So we'll be specifying that one as a nested if statement. Okay, and in the else, if I am using both if and else, then I will be specifying that one as nested else. This part will be specified as an outer else, and this if and else will be specified as an inner if else statements in else part. Is it clear to everyone? This is the way how we are going to execute the nested if else. Okay, so similarly, if I want to execute the same program by making use of else if ladder, okay, then what I'll be doing, just I'll be removing all these things. Okay, so here I'll be using the logical and operator. As you all know that if both the conditions were satisfied, then only it execute that statement. So I'll be specifying if A is greater than B and A is also greater than C. Okay, then I will be printing that one as printf percentile D is largest. So this percentile D is nothing but what? A. Why means I am comparing here, okay, A with B as well as A also with C. If both are true, then only it will be executing that particular statement. A is the largest statement. Okay. So now I'll be closing this one. Okay. So for if, I'll be using else, and in the else again I'll be using if. Then I'll be specifying the condition that I'll be checking by making use of B. So B should be greater than A and also B should be greater than C. Okay. Then I will be printing, I'll copy this and I'll paste here. Okay. And I'll be printing that one as B is the largest number. That means just in the place of A, I will be specifying that one as B. Okay. If not, okay, then finally I am left out with what? C. So I will be using the last one, that is nothing but else. Okay. In the else, I will be printing that statement. Printf percentile D is largest. Comma, here I will be using C. Now I'll save my program. Okay. Then I'll compile my program. So I got here 0 errors and 0 warnings. Now I'll execute my program. So it is asking us to enter 3 numbers. So I'll be using some values 50, 40 and 10. So I got 50 is the largest number. Why means it is checking both the things, logical and operator. First it is compared, A is greater than B and A is also greater than C. So it is printing A is the largest number. Okay. Next we'll check for the B. Okay. So I'll be using here some 10, 50 and 20. Now B is the largest number. That means B is compared with A and B is also compared with C. So now I'll be getting B is the largest number. That is nothing but what? 50. 50 is stored in the variable B. Okay. Now we'll check with C is the largest. Okay. So I'll be giving some values 30, 40 and some 50. So it will be giving 50 is the largest. Okay. This is the way how we are specifying that finding the largest of 3 numbers by making use of else if ladder. That means it is skipping. If the both conditions are satisfied, A and B, just it is executing the statement and remaining all were skipped and directly the control comes to the return statement and it will be quitting off that particular execution. Okay. So if first condition is not satisfied, then it is skipping this particular if statement, coming to the else and it is checking the condition. If the condition is satisfied, it is executing this particular statement that B is the largest. Okay. If both the conditions were not satisfied, okay, then it skips this entire thing and it directly comes to the else part and it will be executing this. Okay. This is the way how we are going to execute our programs by making use of if statement, if else and nested if else statements. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.